right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Andy and Balance. That's very informative presentation. And this is now an example, no, from what Andy and Balance presented. So, would like to share with everybody our challenges and insights from conducting value assays. And this is part of the CICERO project implemented by Dr. Wite Tai. So uh, it's not moving. Okay. So before I proceed, though, just would like to have some insight of what is fall armyworm status in the Philippines. And it's been recorded in 2019, but report said that it's with us since 2016. So it spread all over the country. As you can see here, all the mainland, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, with all the sightings and occurrence of fall armyworm. That's why our department, Department of Agriculture has all this management strategy and importantly undertaking research for and development on integrated pest management of fall armyworm. So the Department of Science and Technology is also on board on the R&D for the control of the fall armyworm. We are not yet out of the woods. We still have that problem of fall armyworm in the Philippines. Okay, so then down to the business challenges and insights from conducting bioassay. Here are the challenges that we encountered, during our uh, experiment, uh, um, developing a working artificial diet, appropriate testing chamber, optimum environmental condition, and the materials for testing, including positive and negative control. So we look at all those challenges we face with these different challenges during our bioassay experiments. First is on the artificial diet. We tried C0 and then we tried Niaglin, and for almost 6 months we end up having to come up with our own diet because the C0 diet and the Niaglin did not really work. So we have to mix and match all these diets from the FAO diets from the C0 given to us and from the Niaglin from the paper, and we came up with this combination of ingredients we call the PCRU. That is our research unit during the time. And this perfectly worked for our reading because we cannot start the bioassay until we are very sure that we have a successful artificial diet for the bioassay. Okay, so we have these POW diets developed by the research unit. Just to show you when we started it with the average percent mortality, as you can see, we have the lowest average percent mortality with the BCRU diet compared to the C0 and also the Niaglin, which did not really work for us. And the average number of egg masses significantly, we harvested more egg masses using the BCRU diet. And here I'm showing you the cycle, the reading system that we followed from the egg masses to the neonate, and then individually placing them to the chamber, breeding chamber, and then the pupa, harvesting of pupa, and back to oviposition chamber with a very effective, for us, this is the very effective oviposition substrate hanged on the rearing cage. Just to reiterate, because this is the very important part of the bioassay, is the successful artificial diet, is make sure to have a very efficient oviposition chamber as such. So this is the best that we had from the different chambers that we developed, and as shown by the harvested eggs that we have. And the diet, that will sustain the 6 larval stages of the fall armyworm, shown in here. Notice here that our diet is green. We put green at first so that we know if they are feeding or not, because the color of the larva change with the color of the diet. During the bioassay, we did not put any more food coloring because we know that it's a working diet. But to start with the diet, we have to put this and really help us in checking the efficiency of the diet. And then the harvested pupa put inside already of the vivisection chamber, and the cycle continues. Now, importantly, the most important in bioassay of fall armyworm is the use of larva. No, this is, as you can see here, this is from the Corteva. The larval stages is important for effective control. For them is chemical control. Is from neonate, first instar, second and third instar larva. So we concentrate on these three stages of the larval instar of fall armyworm, that to choose what we will be using. And we decided to use neonate, the test insect, because we can easily select, no, as what Andy is saying, we have to choose really what would be the best stage, and also use a healthy insect. But we were able to come up with a system that we can use the neonate, actually neonate and first instar larva, but we decided to use the unique neonate in this case. We test the health of the neonate by observing each one under the microscope, so we sure that they are in unhealthy healthy larvae. Now, for the materials tested, we were not able to get the toxin of Bacillus. We end up just using formulated Bacillus materials, such as the Astron for Bacillus thuringiensis, the Magic Gill for Bacillus subtilis, and the Magic Grow for the Bacillus amylocophacians. So we use this field formulated in our bioassay. And in our bioassay, as what have shown by Valen, is the use of 7 concentration preferred based on the MSDS of these materials, for both the Magic Grow, Magic Gill, and the Astron. And we use Prevaton as our positive control, and of course negative control with water only. And we have replicated 3 times each treatment, and each replicate has 24 neonate larvae as test insect. And we assess it 7 days after exposure to the treated artificial diet. For this one, we tried that diet incorporation. It was not so good, so we tried the topical diet in surface coating of the diet, and it works better for us with that. So I know that for the Bacillus, it's maybe probably better diet incorporation for the ingestion of the protein, but since we are using field formulation, this topical is working better for us. I think when we put it in a little heat, with the diet for diet incorporation, it did not work really for us. This is the best test chamber that we have. We tried several chamber, and this is the one that really worked for us. And this is how we set up the bioassay. You have to really very, very prepared, all materials set already before you even start the experiment. Okay. So this is just by passing the result. Thank you for Andy. Thank you to Andy and to Valen for the data analysis for our bioassay. They're the one using the Polo in this one. So I'll be just showing this to you, all the results that we have for the Bacillus amylocophacians, for the Bacillus thuringiensis, and also for the Prevaton, the positive control. So So the result of our bioassay showed that there is a relative efficacy of the different biopesticide, no, as compared to the commercially available synthetic pesticide. And this is our goal, to be able to come up with alternative materials to be that we can use for the control of fall armyworm in the field. The both the Magic Grow and Magic Kill showed higher percent mortality, suggesting their potential in the control of fall armyworm. So as a conclusion for this experiment, the larval mortality increased with the increasing concentration for all the pesticide tested, and the Magic Grow and Magic Kill should be verified through follow-up bioassay. So we will be continuing. This has been finished, but we are given with another funding, so we will be continuing the experiments on these biopesticides. And we would like to explore the toxin composition of both Bacillus subtilis, and Bacillus amylocrepation. So we need to really check all the challenges in the conduct of bioassay. It took us more than a year to be able to start with the real bioassay, because we have to shoot all these challenges and problems before we can even start this bioassay. So really what Andy presented to us earlier, that is what we did. So we followed all those things, and it took us more than a year to be able to come up. But now we are no issue in the bioassay of fall armyworm. It's not the same for all the insects. All different insects will have different challenges that we have to check before we can conduct the bioassay. Now, let me share with you the other insect, the red farm weevil. We did bioassay also on the larva of this red farm weevil. This is a very big problem now in the Philippines. An emerging, becoming a major insect now of the coconut in the Philippines, and I suppose also a problem in other Southeast Asian countries. And this is what we have, no? The damages from this insect. And what I really would like to show here is the winning materials from the bioassay that we did for the red farm weevil, is the one that we use in our biopesticide treatment, no, using the trunk injection. Using the trunk injection of the coconut insect, with the help of the detection of the cryptic larva in the using acoustic technology as shown in here. So we are sure that there is the occurrence of the larva of red farm weevil in the coconut using this acoustic, and then we can do the target delivery using trunk injection of the winning material from our bioassay. The bioassay that we did is similar process that we did for the fall armyworm. So just to show you the lures that we use, in the Indonesian lure is it's better, no, in terms of trapping red palm weevil, because it's also trapping the rhinoceros beetle as compared to the US lure. So just showing you how problematic this was. This is the color morphism of the red farm weevil that we have in the Philippines. But take note here, this is in the mainland, and this is only in an island. And what we observe is that there is only one color morphism in the island as compared to the one in the mainland. And my point here is we have to look at this differentiation or genetic variation, or the genetic population of this red farm weevil to be considered in all the bioassay that we will be doing in the lab for identification of the best control strategy or use of pesticide or biopesticide in the control of the red farm weevil. And I think it's the same that we need to follow for other insect that will be a problem in our country. So I guess that's it
Yes, that's it,
for
I
now
know.
for me. Thank